31 celebrity daughters who look just like their famous fathers. Hollywood has a secret nobody talks about. Sometimes the most powerful stars aren't on the screen. They're standing right beside the legends. Imagine looking at a young woman and seeing the exact same eyes that once ruled the box office, the same smile that sold out arenas, the same face that defined a whole generation. These aren't random lookalikes, they're the daughters of iconic black fathers, and the resemblance is honestly chilling. But here's the twist. Some of them are running from fame, while others are ready to take it. Stay locked in and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence, because this legacy gets deeper than you think. Forest Whitaker, True Whitaker. Forest Whitaker has spent more than 4 decades building a reputation as one of Hollywood's most powerful screen legends, not through loud fame, but through quiet intensity. From Platoon, 1986, and Bird, 1988, to Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, 1999, he mastered the art of saying everything without shouting. That journey reached its peak when he won the Academy Award for The Last King of Scotland, 2006, proving he could transform into any role with soul-level depth. But what fans notice today isn't just his legacy on film, it's how his unmistakable look, those thoughtful eyes and calm presence, seems to live on in his daughter True Whitaker. True Whitaker is a perfect example of why 31 celebrity daughters who look just like their famous fathers hit so hard. She carries her father's features so clearly that one glance can feel like a flashback, but her career path is intentionally different. Instead of chasing instant stardom, True has leaned into modeling and selective acting roles, choosing slow growth over constant exposure. Do you think True should follow Forest into major movie roles, or is it smarter to build her own lane quietly? Side by side, their story is about more than genetics. It's about discipline, patience, and proving that resemblance doesn't mean repetition. Martin Lawrence, Jasmine Page Lawrence. Martin Lawrence isn't just a comedy icon, he's a box office force who helped define an entire era of black entertainment. From the unstoppable energy of Martin 1992 to 1997, to the global success of Bad Boys and the family-friendly explosion of Big Mama's House, his style has always been loud, fearless, and unforgettable. Even after stepping away from non-stop output, he proved his staying power with Bad Boys for Life 2020, reminding the world that his timing and presence still hits like a punchline you can't dodge. And when you look at his daughter Jasmine Page Lawrence, fans instantly notice it. The same facial structure, the same calm eyes, that unmistakable Lawrence stamp. But Jasmine represents a different kind of legacy in the story of 31 celebrity daughters who look just like their famous fathers. Instead of jumping straight into comedy or acting, she has chosen a quieter public image, appearing at select premieres, red carpet moments, and industry events, while keeping her personal life away from non-stop headlines. Her path feels intentional, almost strategic build. Curiosity, protect privacy, and grow at her own pace. Side by side, Martin and Jasmine prove something powerful. A daughter can look exactly like her famous father, carry the same aura, and still create her own identity without chasing the spotlight every day. Omar Epps, Kamari Mai Epps. Omar Epps has long been respected as one of the most grounded and emotionally believable actors of his generation. He first turned heads in the early 1990s with Juice 1992, then deepened his reputation through powerful roles in Higher Learning 1995 and Love and Basketball 2000. But the role that truly placed him in millions of living rooms was Dr. Eric Foreman on House MD, where he became one of the show's most recognizable faces. Omar's style has never been about flashy headlines. It's been about quiet control, subtle emotion, and performances that feel real. Kamari Mai Epps clearly carries her father's signature presence. The same calm eyes, the same composed energy, but her passion didn't pull her toward Hollywood cameras. Instead, Kamari has focused on music, developing as a singer and songwriter, and shaping her identity through sound rather than screen. While Omar's legacy is measured in unforgettable roles and decades of acting credibility, Kamari's lane is more personal and independent, built on creativity, mood, and originality. Together, they prove that looking like your famous father doesn't mean you have to copy his career. Sometimes the real inheritance is discipline and the courage to create your own spotlight. Damon Dash, Ava Dash. Damon Dash became a major name in entertainment and business during the peak of hip-hop's luxury era, known not only for his bold personality, but for building brands and shaping culture behind the scenes. As a music mogul and entrepreneur, he helped turn creative influence into real business power, proving that fame isn't the only currency, ownership is. That same fast-moving world of ambition and style also surrounded his daughter Ava Dash, who grew up between New York and Los Angeles with a front-row seat to fashion celebrity circles and high-level hustle. Ava Dash, the daughter of Damon Dash and fashion designer Rachel Roy, reflects that legacy in a modern way. She stepped into modeling as a teenager, working with recognizable fashion names while developing her own signature image, confident, polished, and camera-ready. But Ava's story isn't just about runway looks or industry connections. She's also built a reputation as a young voice for mental health awareness and women's empowerment, using her platform to push messages of self-love and resilience. Rachel Roy's influence shows in Ava's balance of style and substance, while Damon's entrepreneurial DNA appears in how Ava moves like a brand builder, not just a face. Together, they represent a new generation blueprint, fashion purpose, and business instincts, all living in one name. Afshin Shahidi, Yara Shahidi. Yara Shahidi represents a new kind of Hollywood legacy, one built on talent, intelligence, and purpose, not just fame. She first entered the public eye as a child, appearing in commercials and early TV work, but her true breakthrough came when she portrayed Zoe Johnson on Blackish in 2014. The role quickly made her a standout, and she later carried that momentum into the spin-off Grownish, proving she wasn't just a familiar face, she was a leading voice for her generation. What makes Yara especially striking is how she balances entertainment with real-world impact, moving through Hollywood with the focus of a scholar and the confidence of an activist. Her upbringing shaped that balance. Yara's father, Ashin, often spelled Ashraf Shahidi, is known as a respected photographer who worked alongside music legend Prince, placing creativity at the center of their household. Her mother, Carrie Shahidi, brought depth through her own background and influence, supporting Yara's growth with strong values and cultural awareness. Yara didn't stop at success on screen. She pursued higher education and graduated from Harvard University in 2022, a milestone that reinforced her image as a role model beyond television. The transcript also mentions that her acceptance was supported by a recommendation letter from former First Lady Michelle Obama, highlighting how Yara's activism and leadership reached far outside Hollywood. Today, she continues expanding her impact by producing projects that elevate underrepresented voices, showing that in this generation, legacy isn't just inherited, it's built with intention. Chris Rock, Zara Savannah Rock. Chris Rock has spent decades as one of America's sharpest comedic voices, fearless, outspoken, and culturally unforgettable. Whether on stage, on screen, or behind the microphone, his legacy is built on truth-telling humor and the kind of confidence that only comes from surviving the spotlight for years. But behind the legendary comedian is a father who has often spoken about how having daughters changed him, making him more reflective, more grounded, and more aware of what really matters beyond fame. Zara Savannah Rock. Chris Rock's daughter, with philanthropist Malak Compton Rock, grew up close to celebrity life, but has never behaved like someone chasing attention. Instead of becoming a constant headline or social media spectacle, Zara is known for living a quieter, more private life, while still showing glimpses of her personality through select moments online. She's been described as adventurous-spirited and especially passionate about horseback riding, a lifestyle that feels far removed from Hollywood pressure. Malak Compton Rock's influence also shows in Zara's values, with a family background connected to community work and giving back. Side by side, Chris and Zara represent a different kind of celebrity story. The world may recognize the last name instantly, but Zara's life proves that being born into fame doesn't mean you have to live for it. Damon Wayans, Kyla Wayans. Damon Wayans is part of one of the most influential comedy dynasties in American entertainment. With his fearless humor and sharp timing, he helped shape pop culture through In Living Color, and later became a familiar face for family audiences with My Wife and Kids. For decades, Damon's name has represented hard work originality and that signature, Wayans energy, the kind of talent that feels natural but is really built through years of grind. In a family where success often happens in front of millions, the pressure to follow the spotlight is real. But Kyla Wayans, his youngest daughter, took a very different path. Even though she briefly appeared in My Wife and Kids, Kyla never chased constant visibility or headlines the way many celebrity kids do, while other members of the Wayans family like Damon Wayans Jr. and her siblings became more public through acting and comedy careers, Kyla has mostly stayed out of the media, choosing privacy over fame. That decision makes her story stand out because it proves that being born into a legendary last name doesn't automatically mean living a public life. Sometimes the strongest move is the quiet one, staying close to family, protecting your peace, and letting the world wonder rather than giving it everything. Denzel Washington, Katya Washington. Denzel Washington has long been viewed as Hollywood royalty, a man whose career represents discipline, excellence, and a level of respect few actors ever reach. With an Oscar-winning legacy and decades of unforgettable performances, Denzel became the definition of steady greatness. But behind the awards and iconic roles, another part of his legacy is just as strong: the values he built at home alongside his wife Pauletta Washington. Together, they raised their children with structure, humility, and a clear understanding that fame means nothing without hard work. That's exactly why Katya Washington stands out. Instead of chasing the spotlight in front of the camera, she carved her name behind it, building a serious career in film production. The transcript notes that she worked as an editorial production assistant on Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained 2012, gaining hands-on experience in a high-pressure environment where no one gets special treatment. From there, she continued climbing, including working as an associate producer on Fences 2016, the powerful film directed by her father, and built on deep emotional storytelling. Katya's story proves something rare about celebrity kids. She didn't just inherit a famous last name, she earned her credibility through real work. In the Washington family, legacy isn't about being seen, it's about being solid. Lawrence Fishburne, Delilah Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne has spent decades building one of the most respected careers in Hollywood, a man known for powerful roles in films like Boys and the Hood and The Matrix, where his presence alone could command a scene. He's the type of actor whose voice, posture, and intensity feel larger than life, yet his real-life approach to family has often been about staying grounded. Even with global fame, he's always been seen as someone who takes responsibility seriously, especially when it comes to being present for his children. Delilah Fishburne, his daughter, with actress Gina Torres, is growing up with that same balance of legacy and protection. While she has shown early interest in the arts, including theater and music, her parents have been careful not to push her into fame too fast. Lawrence and Gina, though separated, are described as maintaining a supportive co-parenting relationship focused on stability and emotional health rather than Hollywood pressure. Gina Torres, known for strong roles of her own, brings discipline and confidence into Delilah's upbringing, shaping a home environment where talent is respected, but privacy is valued. Their story feels refreshing, a celebrity child not being rushed into a spotlight but guided to grow at her own pace, supported by two parents who understand exactly how heavy the industry can be. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Simone Alexandra Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is more than a movie superstar. He's a living symbol of how wrestling greatness can evolve into global fame. But long before Hollywood blockbusters, his roots were built inside a family dynasty where strength, charisma, and legacy were everything. The transcript reminds viewers that The Rock didn't come out of nowhere. He carries the bloodline of wrestling legends like his father Rocky Johnson and his grandfather Peter Maivia, names that helped shape the foundation of professional wrestling. That history is exactly why his story hits differently, because it wasn't just talent, it was generations of pressure and expectation. Now that legacy is being passed down again through his daughter Simone Johnson, also known in WWE as Ava Raine. Instead of just being The Rock's daughter, Simone stepped into the ring world on her own terms, signing with WWE and training at the Performance Center to prove she could earn respect, not just attention. The transcript highlights how she made history as WWE's first fourth-generation superstar, a rare achievement that turns her journey into something bigger than celebrity. It becomes family destiny. With support from both her father and her mother, Dany Garcia Simone balances toughness with focus, showing the discipline it takes to survive in a business that demands both body and personality. Side by side, The Rock and Simone prove that some legacies aren't just remembered. They're continued in real time under brighter lights and even higher expectations. Boris Kodjoe, Sophie Taiyaki Lee. Kodjoe. Boris Kodjoe and Nicole Ari Parker have long been admired not only for their talent on screen, but for the strength and unity they show as a family off-screen. Boris built his name through roles in projects like Soul Food and later television success, while Nicole became known for her elegance, versatility, and steady presence in film and TV. Together, they've always carried themselves like a power couple, but their most meaningful legacy isn't fame. It's the way they've turned real-life challenges into purpose, using their platform to uplift others instead of hiding their struggles. Their daughter, Sophie Kodjoe, represents that inspiration at the deepest level. Born with spina bifida, Sophie faced obstacles from the very start, but her parents chose to fight alongside her with relentless love and public advocacy. Rather than keeping her condition behind closed doors, Boris and Nicole openly shared their journey, helping raise awareness and offering support to other families facing similar battles. The transcript highlights Sophie's confidence and bright spirit, showing a young woman who refuses to be defined by limitations. Whether she's attending events with her parents or exploring her passion for photography, Sophie stands as proof that resilience can become a family identity. In their story, legacy isn't about spotlight or awards, it's about courage, hope, and the strength to keep showing up. Tyrese Gibson. Shayla Summer Gibson. Tyrese Gibson has always been the kind of entertainer who lives with his heart on his sleeve. From R&B stardom to blockbuster fame through the Fast and Furious franchise, his career has been fueled by passion, emotion, and a strong desire to be remembered. But beyond the music and movies, Tyrese is often most vocal about one role he takes more seriously than any script: being a father. His love for his daughter has been a constant theme in his public life, and he's repeatedly described her as his greatest motivation. Shayla Gibson. Tyrese's daughter, with Norma Mitchell, grew up in the public eye, but has shown a surprisingly thoughtful and creative spirit. Instead of leaning only into celebrity appearances, Shayla became a young co-author working alongside her father on children's books that focus on kindness, faith, and self-worth. The transcript also mentions their publishing effort. Gibson and Gibson Publishing launched in 2015, turning their bond into something tangible and meaningful. Even through the challenges of a very public custody battle, Tyrese continued pushing the idea that fatherhood is his foundation, not just a headline. Shayla's story stands out because she isn't just the daughter of a famous man, she's part of a real partnership that shows legacy can be built through love, storytelling, and shared purpose, not just fame. Tichina Arnold. Elijah Haggins. Tichina Arnold has been a familiar face in American comedy for decades, remembered for her sharp personality and unforgettable presence in classic sitcoms like Martin and later Everybody Hates Chris. She's the kind of actress who didn't just play a character, she helped define the energy of an era, becoming a recognizable name for audiences who grew up watching 90s and early 2000s television. Off-screen, Tichina's life has included personal challenges as well, and she has spoken openly about health struggles while continuing to work and raise her daughter with strength and determination. Her daughter Elijah, also spelled Elijah Haggins, comes from a creative household, with her father being music producer Carvin Haggins. Unlike many celebrity kids who chase instant fame, Elijah has remained relatively low profile while still showing signs of real talent. The transcript describes her as multi-skilled, interested in acting, singing, and dancing, with early experiences that helped her understand performance without being swallowed by the spotlight. Fans often notice her lively energy and natural charisma when she appears in clips or photos shared by her mother. But what stands out most is the balance. Elijah has the spark to shine, yet she's being raised with enough privacy to grow before the industry can label her. In their story, the legacy isn't forced. It's protected, developed slowly, and built on confidence rather than chaos. Stan Lathan, Sanaa Lathan. Sanaa Lathan stands out as a rare kind of Hollywood star, elegant, disciplined, and respected for talent that never depends on hype. Known for roles that defined an era, especially her unforgettable performance in Love and Basketball. 2000, Sanaa became the face of a certain kind of on-screen strength, confident, romantic, but never fragile. Over the years, she continued proving her range through projects like Brown Sugar, 2002, and Something New, 2006, building a career that speaks directly to audiences who appreciate real storytelling, not quick trends. Her story is also a reminder that legacy doesn't always come from famous fathers and their daughters who look alike. In Sanaa's case, the spotlight is on the daughter herself and the foundation behind her greatness. Her father, Stan Lathan, is a pioneering producer and director known for shaping Black television and comedy culture, while her mother, Eleanor McCoy, was a Broadway performer who carried stage-level discipline into the home. Growing up surrounded by both film and theater, Sanaa didn't inherit fame, she inherited craft. That's why her career has always felt polished and intentional, built on training, education, and long-term respect rather than shortcuts. She's the exception in this lineup, but also one of the clearest examples of how powerful a family legacy can be, even when it isn't about resemblance, it's about preparation. Eddie Murphy, Angel Iris, Murphy Brown. Eddie Murphy is one of the most legendary entertainers of all time, a comedic giant whose impact stretches from Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America to family classics like Shrek. His career has been defined by charisma, fearless humor, and an ability to dominate every era he touches. But beyond the fame, Eddie's personal life has often drawn attention too, especially when it comes to fatherhood. With a large family, he has repeatedly said that his children are what keep him grounded, reminding the world that the biggest star in the room can still be just dad at home. Angel Iris Murphy Brown, Eddie's daughter, with Mel B. Melanie Brown of the Spice Girls, arrived with intense public scrutiny. The early co-parenting situation became tabloid fuel, including Eddie initially questioning paternity before a DNA test confirmed he was Angel's father, a moment that turned into a headline far bigger than it should have been. Over time, however, the story shifted. Eddie and Mel B worked toward a healthier co-parenting relationship focused on Angel's stability and well-being. Angel also shares a unique connection with Eddie. They were born on the same date, April 3rd, something that fans often see as symbolic of a bond that was always meant to exist. Today, her life reflects a more balanced family environment, proving that even when a celebrity story starts messy in public, it can still grow into something steady behind closed doors. Eddie Murphy, Bella, Zara Murphy. Eddie Murphy is a Hollywood icon whose influence spans generations, from dominating the box office in the 80s and 90s to becoming a family-friendly legend through global franchises. But one of the most interesting parts of Eddie's legacy today is watching how his children step into adulthood with their own ambitions. Despite being one of the most famous men on the planet, Eddie has often kept his family life relatively protected, allowing his kids to grow up away from constant cameras. And that foundation is what makes their careers feel more natural, not forced. Bella Murphy, Eddie's daughter, with model Nicole Mitchell, is one of the clearest examples of a next-generation Murphy entering the entertainment world with purpose. Bella made a major first impression when she appeared alongside her father in Coming to America 2021, playing one of Prince Akeem's daughters. It wasn't just a cameo. It was a real introduction showing that she has the confidence, timing, and on-screen comfort that audiences instantly associate with Eddie himself. Fans often point out the resemblance, the same bright expression, the same effortless charm, and the same camera-ready energy. But Bella's path is still her own. Instead of relying purely on her father's name, she's building her identity step by step, proving that looking like a legend can open a door. But talent is what keeps you inside the room. Kevin McCall, Marley Rae Sterling. Ava Marcille has always been a woman who knows how to stand out, from winning America's Next Top Model to building a public image through reality, television, fashion, and motherhood in the spotlight. But behind the glamour, her real-life story includes challenges that never make the highlight reels, especially when it comes to protecting her child. Her relationship with songwriter Kevin McCall became widely discussed not just because of celebrity attention, but because of the difficult custody conflict that followed. And for Eva, the priority was clear stability for her daughter, not chaos for the cameras. Marley Rae Sterling. Eva's daughter grew up in the middle of that complicated situation, but her life today reflects a different kind of family structure, one built around safety and consistent support. The transcript notes that Marley now carries the surname of Eva's husband, attorney Michael Sterling, who has stepped in as a devoted father figure. While Kevin McCall remains her biological father, Marley's day-to-day life has been shaped by the home Eva and Michael created, and it's clear they've worked hard to give her peace instead of drama. Even at a young age, Marley is described as poised and charming, showing early interest in modeling like her mother once did, but with the freedom to choose her own future. In this family story, the legacy isn't just beauty and fame, it's a mother fighting to make sure her child grows up protected. Danny Sims, Anansa Sims. Beverly Johnson is a true fashion trailblazer, a legendary supermodel who broke barriers and changed what the industry believed was possible for Black women. Her name carries history, elegance, and the kind of influence that opened doors for generations after her. But being raised under a mother with that level of fame and expectation isn't always easy. It can feel like living next to a giant shadow where every move is compared to the standard she set. And that pressure became part of the story passed down to Beverly's daughter. Anansa Sims. Beverly's daughter, with music producer Danny Sims, took that legacy and flipped it into something uniquely her own. Instead of trying to copy her mother's exact path, Anansa embraced her identity as a plus-size model and body positivity advocate, showing the world that beauty doesn't come in one shape or one size. Before fully stepping into modeling, she even pursued a more traditional route, working as a financial analyst, proof that she built discipline outside of fashion first. Later, she signed with major agencies and became a respected figure in the curve modeling space, using her platform to challenge outdated standards. Together, Beverly and Anansa represent two generations of breaking rules. One shattered the color barrier, the other widened the definition of beauty itself. Robert Ellis Silberstein, Chudney Ross. Diana Ross is more than a music icon. She's a cultural monument whose voice and image helped define Motown and shape the sound of American history. Decades of fame, international tours, and timeless hits made Diana the kind of star whose name alone carries glamour and greatness. But beyond the spotlight, she also built a family, and one of the most fascinating parts of her legacy is seeing how her children chose paths that didn't always mirror the stage. Instead of only creating performers, Diana also raised builders, people who wanted to impact the world in quieter, lasting ways. Chudney Ross. Diana's daughter with music executive Robert Ellis Silverstein represents that softer but powerful kind of inheritance. Rather than chasing singing careers or red carpet headlines, Chudney leaned into education, storytelling, and community impact. The transcript highlights that she founded Books and Cookies in Santa Monica in 2012, creating a space that blended a children's bookstore with workshops that encouraged literacy, creativity, and learning. She also became a published children's author using stories to inspire young minds and expanded into television production, shaping narratives behind the scenes instead of performing in front of the lights. Chudney's story proves that being raised by a superstar doesn't automatically mean you have to chase the same kind of fame. Sometimes the greatest legacy is choosing to build something that helps others grow. Jeffrey Wright, Juno Wright. Jeffrey Wright is the kind of actor Hollywood rarely produces, intense, thoughtful, and respected across every lane of performance. From his award-winning television work to powerful film roles, he built a reputation on substance, not celebrity noise. His presence feels intellectual, controlled, and unforgettable, the type of talent that audiences recognize even when he isn't chasing headlines. Carmen Ejogo, equally admired for her own work in film and television, adds another layer of artistry to the family. Together they represent a household rooted in craft, where storytelling is treated as a serious discipline. Their daughter, Juno Wright, has grown up surrounded by that creative energy, yet she hasn't been pushed into public fame. Even though her parents separated, the transcript emphasizes that both Jeffrey and Carmen remained involved and focused on building a stable, supportive upbringing. Juno is described as artistic and thoughtful, more centered on education and personal growth than chasing cameras. In an era where celebrity kids are often marketed before they're even adults, Juno's story feels almost rare, a young woman protected from the pressure of public expectations. It's a reminder that sometimes the strongest legacy isn't a child copying their parents' careers. It's having the freedom to choose their own identity before the world tries to label them. Legacy looks beautiful on camera, but it isn't always easy to live inside. These daughters may share the same eyes, smiles, and calm confidence as their famous fathers. Yet their real challenge is proving they're more than a reflection. Some choose privacy over fame, others step into music, fashion, or wrestling, rewriting the family story in their own way. And that raises a bigger question for all of us: is celebrity legacy a blessing, or a silent pressure that steals freedom? Let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more real stories behind the spotlight.